You're listening to Just a Dude podcast with your host, Nathan. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's roll. Hey there, folks. Welcome back to Just a Dude in the News on Just a Dude podcast. I'm your host, Nathan, just a regular guy sifting through the headlines to bring you what's been shaken up in the United States from August 15th to today, August 22nd, 2025. We've got a packed episode today with the top 10 news stories making waves across the country, from storms battering the coast to some big moves in Washington, D.C. I'm diving into the details with a laid-back vibe, but keeping it real and professional. So grab a coffee, kick back, and let's get into what's been going on. All right, let's start with Mother Nature throwing a punch. Hurricane Erin hit North Carolina's Outer Banks hard this week, causing massive coastal flooding and keeping folks on edge. The storm rolled in around August 20th, bringing rough waves and serious rip currents that had authorities telling people to shelter in place. It's a tough reminder of how wild nature can get. And the Outer Banks took the brunt of it. The National Weather Service was out there warning about rip currents stretching way beyond North Carolina, hitting beaches up and down the coast. Local officials in Buxton were sandbagging buildings to protect against the flooding, but the damage was real. Businesses and homes got hit, and the cleanup's going to be a beast. Social media was buzzing with videos of waves crashing over piers, and you could feel the worry from folks who call the coast home. It's one of those moments where you respect the power of the ocean. For the people in the Outer Banks, this storm's been a wake-up call. Many are used to hurricanes, but Erin's intensity caught some off guard. The economic hit is going to sting too. With tourism taking a dip as visitors stayed away, local leaders are already talking about recovery plans, but it's a long road ahead. You've got to feel for the small business owners and fishermen who rely on those coastal dollars. On the brighter side, communities are pulling together, as they always do. Neighbors are helping neighbors, and there's talk of federal aid to get things back on track. Storms like Erin remind us of how resilient folks can be, but they also highlight the need for solid infrastructure to weather these hits. Keep an eye on this one, because the recovery story's just getting started. Next up, things got intense in the nation's capital. President Trump rolled out a big move this week, deploying the National Guard to Washington, D.C. to tackle what he's calling rampant crime. Starting around August 15th, you had National Guard troops patrolling hotspots like the National Mall and Union Station. It's a bold step, and it's got people talking about whether this is the right way to handle things in the city. This decision came after a string of high-profile incidents, though specifics on crime stats from this week are still trickling in. The idea is to send a message that law and order's the priority, with Guard members working alongside the local police department. Social media has been lit up with reaction. Some folks are all for the extra boots on the ground, saying it's about time, while others are worried about its overreach. You can feel the tension in the air when you see those images of troops near the Capitol. This isn't the first time the Guard's been called up, but using them for crime control in D.C. is raising eyebrows. Experts are saying it's a shift from their usual role, like disaster response or riot control. The administration's pushing the narrative that D.C.'s been struggling with crime for quite a while, and this is a necessary step to correct the wrong. Critics, though, are asking if it's more about optics than results. Either way, it's a big moment for the city. For the average person in D.C., it's got to feel surreal seeing military vehicles rolling through. There's a hope that it will make the streets safer, but there's also concern about what it means for the vibe of the Capitol. A military truck crashing into a civilian vehicle on August 20th didn't help to calm the nerves either. We'll have to see if this crackdown delivers or if it's just stirring the pot. Let's talk money now. President Trump's new tariffs kicked in this week, and they're making waves for businesses across the country. Announced earlier, but hitting hard around August 20th, these tariffs, 25% on Mexican and Canadian imports, and a jump from 10% to 20% on Chinese goods, are raising costs for companies that rely on these imports. American exporters are feeling the pinch too, worried about retaliation from trading partners. The goal here is to boost American manufacturing and protect jobs, but it's a gamble. Companies are already talking about passing higher costs to consumers, which could mean pricier goods at the store. Small businesses, like those in Colorado, are saying the tariffs are hurting more than helping, with supply chains getting tangled up. Social media is full of debates. Some folks see this as standing up for American workers, others as a recipe for inflation. Take a farmer in Central Florida, for example. They're dealing with labor shortages because migrants are leaving the states, partly due to stricter policies. Now, add tariffs jacking up equipment costs, and it's a double whammy. Economists are warning this could slow the economy, with stock prices wobbling as the news sank in. The White House is betting on long-term gains, but right now it's a tough sell for some. On the flip side, there's optimism in places like manufacturing hubs where folks hope this will bring back jobs. The U.S.-Japan trade framework announced earlier this month with its own tariffs and investments is part of the same strategy. It's a high-stakes play, and we're all watching to see if it pays off or if prices just keep climbing. Shifting gears, there's a big immigration story out of Washington. On August 21st, the federal appeals court sided with the Trump administration, halting protections for about 60,000 migrants from Central America and Nepal. These folks were under temporary protected status, but a lower court's order keeping those protections in place got paused. It's a win for the administration's tougher stance on immigration. This move ties into broader policies making life harder for stateless folks or those at risk of losing citizenship. About 218,000 people in the U.S. are in that boat, and the lack of protection leaves them vulnerable. Social media has been heavy with stories of families like Karina Ambarastomuni Close, who fled Soviet Ukraine, now faces uncertainty. It's a human story that hits hard no matter where you stand. The administration argues this is about enforcing immigration laws and prioritizing legal pathways. Supporters say it's a step towards clarity in a messy system. Critics, though, are pointing out that the chaos it creates for people who've built lives here. The debate's heated, with some calling it a necessary reset and others saying it's heartless. For now, these migrants are in limbo, and that's a tough spot to be in. The legal fight's far from over, with more court battles likely. It's a reminder of how immigration policies can change lives overnight, and folks are bracing for what's next. Keep an eye on this one because it's going to stay in the headlines for time to come. Now for a story that sent chills through Pennsylvania. Villanova University had a scary moment this week when an active shooter warning went out. On August 18th, the school sent an alert saying, "Police on scene, move to secure location, lock barricade doors." You can imagine the panic, students and staff scrambling, not knowing what the heck is going on. Thankfully, it turned out to be a false alarm, but the fear was definitely real. Details are still fuzzy on what triggered the alert, but it shook up the campus. Social media was flooded with students posted about hiding in classrooms or dorms, and parents were freaking out trying to reach their kids. It's the kind of thing that makes your heart race just thinking about it. Campus security is taking a hard look at how this happened. False alarms like this can erode trust, but they also show how seriously schools take these threats. After recent school shootings elsewhere in the country, like the one in Orange County, California this week, nerves are already raw. Villanova's promising a full review to avoid this kind of scare again. For the students, it's a rough way to start the semester. You go to college expecting to focus on classes, not lockdowns. The school's offering counseling, and the community's trying to move forward, but it's a stark reminder of how safety's always on everyone's mind these days. This next one's heartbreaking. In Texas, a 15-year-old high school football player, Preston Malone, died tragically on August 20th after a medical emergency during practice. The Lancaster Independent School District confirmed the news, and it hits the community hard. We don't have details on what caused the emergency, but losing a child like this is just gut-wrenching. High school football is definitely a way of life in Texas, and this loss is shaking folks up. Social media is full of tributes from teammates, coaches, and parents, all remembering Preston as a bright kid with a big future. The school's offering grief counseling, but you know it's going to take time for everyone to process this. The incident's sparking talk about safety in sports. Heat's been brutal this summer, and with practices in full swing, some are asking if enough's being done to protect the young athletes. Coaches and schools are under pressure to double-check their protocols, especially after other heat-related incidents in the news. For Preston's family and friends, no word can really cover it. The community is rallying around them with vigils and fundraisers popping up. It's a reminder to hold your loved ones close and maybe take a second look at how we keep kids safe on the field. Preston, rest in peace. You will not be forgotten. All right, here's the big one on the world stage. President Trump met with Russia's President Vladimir Putin in Alaska this week, around August 15th, to talk about ending the war in Ukraine. The summit held at a U.S. military base was all about finding a path to peace. With Trump pushing for land swaps and security guarantees, it's a high-stakes move that's got everyone paying attention. The meeting's a shift from recent U.S. policy, especially after the administration suspended intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Social media is buzzing with mixed reactions. Some see it as a bold step towards diplomacy. Others worry it's sidelining Ukraine and Europe. The talks are early, but the fact that they're happening is really a big deal. Critics are pointing out that Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky wasn't at the table, which has European leaders nervous. They're worried Trump might pressure Ukraine into concessions. On the other hand, supporters argue it's a pragmatic way to stop the fighting, especially with the U.S. mediating. The details are still murky, but the stakes couldn't be higher. For Americans, it's a moment to watch closely. Foreign policy like this can ripple back home, affecting everything from gas prices to global stability. Whether this leads to peace or more tension, it's a story that's going to keep unfolding, and we'll keep an eye on. Politics got spicy this week in California and Texas. The two biggest states are gearing up to redraw their congressional districts, and it's turning into a political slugfest. Kicked off around August 21st, this move's tied to President Trump's influence, with both states looking at maps that could shake up the balance of power in Congress. In California, Democrats are pushing back hard, saying the new maps could dilute their influence. Texas, meanwhile, is seeing similar fights, with debates over whether the redraw favors one party too much. Social media's got folks on both sides fired up, with some calling it a chance to fix gerrymandering and others saying it's just more political games. The process is just starting, but it's already a mess. Legal challenges are definitely likely, and the outcome could shape elections for years. Both states are under pressure to get it done fast, but with so much at stake, no one's backing down. It's classic politics. Everyone's got an angle, and the voters are caught in the middle. For regular folks, it's a reminder that lines on a map can decide who gets a voice in Washington. Whether you're in a blue bubble or a red stronghold, these changes could hit home. Keep an ear out for how this plays out, because it's going to be a wild ride. Switching to culture, there's drama at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. On August 21st, the iconic arts hub announced a major shakeup in dance programming tied to changes under the Trump administration. Details are slim, but a spokesperson teased an exciting announcement about a new direction soon. It's got the arts world buzzing. The Kennedy Center's a big deal for American culture, hosting everything from ballet to Broadway. This shakeup's raising questions about what's next for its programming. Social media's got artists and fans wondering if budget cuts or a new vision are driving this. Some are excited for a fresh take, while others worry about losing what makes the center special. This comes at a time when the arts are already feeling squeezed. With economic pressures and political shifts, cultural institutions are navigating tricky waters. The Kennedy Center's promising to keep its mission strong, but change always brings uncertainty. For performers and audiences, it's a wait-and-see moment. Whatever's coming, the Kennedy Center's a symbol of American creativity, and folks are hoping it stays that way. Whether you're a dance fan or just love a good show, this story is worth watching. It's a reminder that even the arts can feel the ripple of bigger changes. Finally, a heavy international story with U.S. ties. On August 22nd, a UN-backed group issued dire warnings that famine's taken hold in northern Gaza, with risks of spreading further. The U.S. has been involved in aid efforts, but Israel's blockades and ongoing conflicts are making it tough to get food to those who need it. It's a grim situation that's hitting headlines here at home. This report paints a brutal picture. Kids and families struggling to eat, with humanitarian access limited. Social media is filled with images of long lines for food, and it's tough to look at. The U.S. is pushing for peace talks, with Trump's team mediating between Hamas and Israel, but progress is slow. This famine warning's a wake-up call for more action. For Americans, it's a reminder of how global crises hit close to home. The U.S. funds a lot of aid programs, and there's debate over how much we should be doing. Some say we need to focus on our own problems here at home. Others argue we can't ignore suffering like this. Either way, it's a tough story to hear. The path forward is definitely unclear, but pressure's on for a ceasefire and more aid. With the U.S. in the mix, the story's got layers: humanitarian, political, and moral. Let's hope for some breakthroughs, because no one should be starving in 2025. And that's a wrap for this week's Top 10 Stories, folks. From hurricanes to high-stakes diplomacy, it's been a wild ride across the U.S. I'm Nathan, just a dude bringing you the news with a straight-up talk. Thanks for tuning in to Just a Dude in the News on Just a Dude podcast. Hit me up on social media with your thoughts, and we'll catch you next week for more of what's shaping our world. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you on the next episode.